Hello and welcome to episode number 7 of the Chunk Locked Ironman account. After we rolled the western part of Lumbridge, we got a 43 crafting requirement, which is gonna be what's gonna be taking most of our time for this chunk. Also, I wanna be upfront. The upload frequency is gonna be slowing down a bit. I've had to get basically a second job, so my time to play has become less and less. So this is basically the last video I had like in the pipeline. The rest are gonna coming up as I play through. So they might not be weekly, they might be even 2 weeks, maybe even 3 weeks depending on the chunk. But I'll try to keep them coming for y'all. So yeah, we have gotten pretty good progress so far. We have basically 8 chunks unlocked, even though we can only access 7. We cannot access the wizard's tower yet, but if we rolled it, that's gonna be some pretty hefty requirements. So right now 43 crafting in order to craft some studded boots. So let's get rolling. And the way we're gonna do this is, I'm thinking there's 2 different ways we can kill enemies in the catacombs. So you're gonna see right here, get a couple levels here, a nice strength level, and upgrade our melees as well. And here we can basically get leather and leather items, and then those leather items we can add the steel studs, I think that's the name for them, and we can get some crafting XP from that. But also with the normal leather we can just make leather items and get some crafting. So here we are just continuing getting a few levels. That's 37 strength, that's 34 prayer. Prayer is one of those, we're gonna keep leveling it slowly. We're gonna hit 43 for protect from melee and our protection skills. 43 constitution, that's also pretty good. Here we are just rolling catacombs, 39 strength. As you can see, I'm just collecting the leather and leather items, burying the bones, and I'm also keeping the runes and everything we get, because why not? And that's 40 strength. So after that, I'm here just basically testing the best way for this. So here I'm just getting a few crafting levels, so I'm making leather bodies, which is basically one of the best ways I have for XP here. I know since I'm pretty low level, this inventory is gonna give me maybe like 3 or 4 levels, which is pretty good. That's level 5. And here basically just rolling level 6. I'm doing leather bodies because they're the best way for me to get XP. I kind of want to be doing something else, which you're going to see in a bit, because I want to be able to use the steel studs on them and get some extra XP. So I'm going to be switching from bodies to gloves pretty soon. We're just getting some XP early on. And I also had some gems that I got from mining. Get a little bit of XP. Try to get as much as we can from it. There's no, but as you can see, I fail cutting like 20 out of the 30 I had. So that's not a pretty good way, but might as well. Here we're back at the catacombs. Just making, a couple more bodies. Level 12 crafting. And then back to the catacombs. I would just basically go to the catacombs, get an inventory, and then go outside, craft. So 43 attack, 44 hit points. We're just moving on. Constitution, I'm sorry. As an old school player, I'm sorry. That's 13 crafting. 35 prayer. Prayer moving up pretty nicely. And that's 44 attack. And we're back out now for level 14 crafting. And then back 45 attack. I had really no good way of displaying this. I know it's all moving back and forth, but the levels are all, I've got some levels inside the catacombs and then some levels outside. Kind of felt pretty weird if I would just put everything in the catacombs first and then the other thing. So 15 crafting. I went doing some mining because I had some AFK time, and I'm like, if we get, I got some piece of Doric's book. Whatever that is, I have no idea. Just getting some mining levels. Don't really need them right now, but I had AFK time And hopefully we can get a little bit of XP from the gems. Mining in RS3 is pretty good. AFK wise, just, you know, click every now and then. And even if you just let it drown with no stamina, you can still get some, maybe not like decent XP, but you know, you still get XP. So here we're cutting some more gems, testing this method, 16 crafting, 17 crafting. So we did get a few levels from here. That's 49 mining. 18 crafting from the gems. And back to the catacombs with 47 attacks. So yeah, we've been here for a while now. 36 prayer. I think it's been like a couple days. That's 48 attack. Getting closer to the 50. It's 46 constitution. That's 49 attack. I think at 50 we should be able to wear rune weapons, but you know, we don't have rune weapons yet. So that's 19 crafting. 37 prayer, so we have unlocked our first protection, which is protect from magic. That's 50 attack, which is very good. We're gonna be switching to defense now. So in case we get a requirement to like wear rune later on, we will already be set. So that's level 20 crafting, which is really good. We had a few sapphires in the inventory, which goes to 21. And now that we have 21, we can switch here to this, the spiders that drop the spider silk, I think is the name of the item. And this give way more XP than the leather, so basically, and I can craft here on the spot. This is also kind of a decent way for me to make money here. So I won't be selling everything, because you know, but it's kind of slow. Having to go out of the catacombs, sell everything, come back. But you know, I'll be selling every now and then. Trying to get some gold in case I need it later on. You know, might as well. I don't really know what the next chunks have for me, so might as well be prepared for, with maybe like 100,000 or something. So just doubling crafting, that's 27 crafting. 44 defense, so our combats are also moving on pretty nicely. Now we can cut our emeralds, which gave us 28 crafting. 38 prayer, moving up in the prayer world. 29 crafting. And that's level 30 crafting. Now we can make, I believe it's the shields that give us more XP that we're making. It's also just quicker. And honestly, it took me longer to get to this point with the leather than later on. So here we're just completing one of the achievements, which is just to check the capes. Taking a little bit of a break in between. And one of the achievements is also to sell some shrimp. And yep, it had to be to the fishing shop. There we go. That was my mistake for not reading properly. We are also starting the Lost City quest. We can do a few steps here. That's why we grinded agility on that one style last episode. Took like a couple hours. Here we're finding a leprechaun, which I have no idea where he is. And there he is. He just spawned way far away from the tree now. Come on, buddy. There we go. And he basically just takes us to find Scenaris, which is gonna be pretty good. We cannot get there yet, I believe, because we cannot do Entrana yet. We don't have the chunks, but you know, there he wants to teleport us to Port's Arm, which we respectfully decline. Back in the catacombs with 46 defense. 33 crafting. That's 34 crafting. Moving on pretty quickly, closing in. That's 48 hit points. Now it's when the levels are starting to get pretty slow. It's 47 defense. just keep rolling with the crafting levels. This is a basically crafting only episode. That's basically the goal we had, but this took a long time. 39 prayer, so we're getting close here. Protect from range at level 40, which is gonna be pretty good. Rolling with crafting, 37 crafting, 48 defense, 38 crafting, and here we're making our steel bars, so we're getting a few smithing levels, and we're making the steel studs, which we're gonna put on our leather bodies. Earlier in the episode I misspoke. I said I can get more XP from doing other things, but I was making the bodies because the bodies I can do at lower level than 43 and get that extra XP. So just a couple smithing levels while we do this. 25, 27. This is all helpful, right? If I roll a chunk later on that requires me to make like an addy bar or a room bar or something, we have the levels, so yeah, this maybe took some extra time, but I was honestly 4 days or 5 days in the catacombs crafting. Yeah, it stops being fun. So you can see that's just 12 smithing levels this episode, so that's pretty good. That's 33 smithing, and we keep rolling with 34 smithing. I think I made around 200 bars. That's basically what I calculated, what my maths calculated for the level. We're getting dangerously close to level 40, which is pretty good. And here we're making the studded coifs, which we could do at level 37. And then we have to come back because we ran out of coifs. It's 49 defense, so almost 50 there. And here we're back to making some more coifs. The spiders can also drop the leather items made. So, what we get, we will put the studs on. That's level 40 smithing. That's really good for us. And that's level 42 crafting with the studs. And there we go. With the gloves, we hit level 43 crafting. And we can finally add the studs to our boots. And bam. There we go. That's the requirements for the chunk completed. Yes. And now we're here back at the chunk picker. And a couple bad things happened here, okay? I'm not very good with the chunk picker, so I made some mistakes, but I'm not gonna hide it and then pretend. So you can see chunk number 7 there, the Mage Training Arena. That's north of Head's Oasis. However, you're gonna see here, spoiler alert, I guess, we rolled the Mage Training Arena. What does that mean? I cannot get to the Mage Training Arena because Head's Oasis I can only get to the south side, so I would need either chunk number 2 to go outside and then back into Head's Oasis, or number 6 in order to be able to get to the Mage Arena, which I do not have. So I could just have taken it off and whatnot, but I kind of panicked and I was thinking of my options, and here I'm like, okay, well that's a very short grind, like fire making, fletching, wood cutting. Pretty simple, right? There's 2 magic trees there. We would have to spend some more time on willows. And then I got thinking, well, I cannot get there. There's no way for me to get there. So for some reason, I thought that if I use the unpick chunk option, I was gonna be able to just, I'll unpick the Mage Training Arena. So you're gonna see here where I click the unpick chunk and it unpicks a random chunk. So that didn't work. I'm just gonna reselect this chunk and we'll keep it open. We're not unpicking random chunks. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lock the Mage Training Arena. Okay, we're gonna keep that locked. And the only reason we're gonna keep that locked is because we cannot get to it. But once we roll either chunk number 2 or number 6, we're gonna be able to roll MTA. I can also not access those chunks besides MTA. I need either 2 or 6. So we're gonna basically keep it like this. Once we roll 2 or 6 and we have access to Mage Training Arena, that chunk gets automatically unlocked and we automatically get get those tasks. Which with the rework, I think it's no longer 90 wood cutting. I think it's only 75. If I'm not mistaken, I don't know if they changed the wood cutting level yet. So yeah, we disable the and we roll our next chunk here. And we get the Lumberch Mill. Okay. Interesting. I don't think this has many. Oh, okay. So we have a hunter requirement for Puro, and we have interesting and the quest. So I think the only way for me to train hunter here is to feed the ogle roots in the Vine Sweeper minigame, I think. So that's gonna be a kind of an easy chunk. But we'll see how it goes. I don't really know how long that will take for me to be able to get that hunter level, feeding the ogle roots in Vine Sweeper. Also, for this account purposes, I've deactivated implinks. One of the things that I don't like about chunk accounts in RuneScape, be it old school or RuneScape 3, is that they get to Puro and they can get their best items from implinks. I don't like that. I want to keep going through the chunks normally. So Puro and implinks are not going to be affected. Okay, so this is asking me to access Puro. I'm going to get the requirement to access it, but there's not going to be a requirement for me to get any implink or any items from an implink. So we're going to keep it that way. So thanks for watching, everybody. I'm sorry, but episode number 8 might be a little bit of a delay, since, you know, I'm going to have less time to basically play the game now. But I'm doing my very best to get it to you as soon as I can. Thank you very, very much for watching. The progress on this channel has been insane, and I really, really appreciate it. I only expected my friend Amako to watch, and nobody else. If I'm being very honest, but you know, latest video has 500 views in like 4 days, so that's crazy. Thank you very much for watching, everybody, and I'll see you all in the next episode. Bye bye.